Ask the Doctor is brought to you in part by Alive, by Nature's Way, distributed by H&J Enterprises, and XL Health TT, the official supplements of the CPL.
You're watching CNC3.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. I am Keyshawn Haynes. Trinidad and Tobago is once again under a state of emergency. It all started with a press release from the TTPS in the early hours of this morning, then followed by a formal proclamation from the president. Now, Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara is saying the threat is coming from a coordinated attack directed from inside the prison system involving smuggled phones. He described it as an organized crime syndicate aiming to destabilize the country. Guevara took the intel, he said, to the National Security Council last night and with a heavy heart recommended the state of emergency to Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Now, the Prime Minister did speak to another media house earlier saying that the declaration of a state of emergency was absolutely necessary given the intelligence reports and the recommendations of the TTPS. Now, as a programming note, we are standing by for a media conference from the Office of the Attorney General. That should be happening any minute now, and we will bring that to you live as soon as it happens. But thanks for staying with us in the meantime. Going on with the newscast, CNC3 News' Jensen Levend was at the briefing this morning and gives us an update.
Now, the police press briefing has just ended, and Commissioner of Police Alistair Guevara just announced that gang members have been relocated from the maximum security prison and placed in a secure location where they are unable to communicate with those on the outside, who he said are part of a syndicate. This syndicate includes members of the national security. Members of the national security are involved. He also said that this identifies or is to tackle a specific threat. He didn't identify what that threat is, but it is unrelated to the last state of emergency, which seemed to tackle gang activities or an increase in gang activities. We will be giving you more updates as the day progresses. Jensen Levin, CNC3 News, Police Administration Building.
Now, as you just heard, the Police Commissioner, Alistair Guevara, did say the state of emergency is in place to address a specific threat against the country that was being organized by this criminal syndicate involving arms of national security. He adds that unearthing this threat came from months of intelligence gathering. Now, during this morning's media conference, Guevara said he had credible information that needed to be addressed. He says the plot was concocted within the prison walls. One of the steps taken to tackle it was the removal of inmates to a secure location where they will be unable to communicate with their partners on the outside. Now, he was asked directly if he thought that members of the national security, which would comprise prisons officers or members of the TTPS, were involved with helping these criminals.
That is a very interesting question. And if I was to answer that question and tell you no, I would be lying to you and the members of the public. Because how else would Ms. Martin and her team, almost on a weekly basis, be finding phones inside of the same cells? So there are persons who seem hell-bent on facilitating the communication of these persons with the outside. So by removing them from that environment and placing them in one where they are a lot more secure, I can feel rest assured that that communication link is broken.
Now, the top cop said he doesn't expect his officers to abuse the system or abuse their power during this time, but there will be punishments if they do.
We have processes and procedures in place. There's a DO called 14 of 2008. I almost know it verbatim. Disciplinary processes and procedures. So if you, as a member of the TTPS, should breach 14 of 2008 or any of the departmental orders or other legislation that govern us, policies, procedures, we have processes to deal with that. So fear not, good citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, this state of emergency, there is no curfew. The commissioner said he wanted citizens to enjoy their lifestyle without any undue strain. The people that will have to be concerned are the criminals. Now, former police commissioner and former Minister of National Security Gary Griffith is criticizing the announcement of the state of emergency, calling it stupidity at the highest level.
I think this is a first in history. So let me clarify, as it pertains to classification of documents, there's confidential, there's restricted, there's secret, and there's top secret. This document falls in that category. And it means that by doing that, the public is not supposed to be aware, because if the public is aware, it means the criminals are also aware. It can also put undue panic in the public before a decision is made.
Now, Griffith is one of the view that the process should not have been initiated by the police service, but by the government.
State of emergency should not be used as a crime-fighting tool. This letter is a template of exactly what was submitted to the government in 2011 to justify calling a state of emergency. Everything that can be done without a state of emergency can be done now, which has not been done.
And criminologist Dr. Randy C. Prasad says the effective dismantling of the organized crime networks behind prison walls should take priority over the introduction of a nationwide state of emergency, referring to reports that the prisoners were plotting to execute attacks on figures in the criminal justice system. C. Prasad said that instead of implementing such a large-scale security response, the government ought to have addressed the matter at the prison level.
No, I don't agree with a state of emergency, because if the root of the problem lies within the prison service itself, which is a much more circumscribed and controllable space than the wider society, then it makes sense to tackle the problem at the source. And there are very clear ways that you can do so.
Now, C. Prasad suggested that authorities create a more robust system to quell activities through either bringing jamming devices to stop communications from going out or placing monitoring devices within the cell to monitor conversations between inmates. He also recommended X-ray scanners similar to that of the airport to be fully operational to scan everyone going in and out of the prison system, both visitors and prison officers themselves. And retired Prisons Commissioner Gerard Wilson says he supports the state of emergency as a way to disrupt prison gangs, but warns that security measures must be consistent. Wilson, who served from 2017 to 2020, says the smuggling of contraband like mobile phones has been a long-standing issue. He believes the current response is appropriate, but urges the authorities to maintain strict security over time. He also called on prison officers to report any colleagues involved in trafficking contraband, saying too many have been caught recently. Earlier, we spoke to political analyst Dr. Shane Mohammed. He said he doesn't see this as a problem, as he considers this to be a police issue at this stage.
I don't expect, though, that the government is going to be silent for an extended period of time, because that would be irresponsible of them. However, taking into consideration that the Attorney General is someone who, by his disposition alone, one who does not speak unless necessary, then when the time comes for everyone to speak on the same page, on the same line, in a coordinated context, then I think we will hear from them. But between now and then, I don't think there's a need to hear from anybody unless it is important for us to get a government directive. This is the remit of the police and the remit of the Commissioner of Police. And I say we wait on the Commissioner of Police to update us next.
Mohammed, it is also very clear that this government needs to be strategic with when, where, and how it plans to address the SOE.
Sometimes being too front-faced end up with foot-and-mouth syndrome. Right. And I think in this scenario, and I think we've seen certain individuals within the government structure have had enough what can I say, camera lights. Let the police do its job, let the government do its job, and when the time is right, I expect either one of the ministers in the national security framework to address us accordingly.
And just a reminder, we are still standing by for a media conference that's to be held by the Attorney General in his office shortly, and we're going to bring that to you as soon as it begins. Meanwhile, the business groups are in support of the state of emergency, and they are hopeful that this one yields success. President of the San Fernando Greater Chamber, Kiran Singh, says the business community awaits the positive results.
Business community should be not not as worried because there's no curfew announced by the Commissioner of Police. What we noticed was that he was quite clear that leisure activities continue as normal, business activity continue as normal, and work. So there's no need for staying indoors and locking ourselves away. We can move about freely.
And Ricardo Mohammed, Vice Chairman of the Confederation of Regional Business Chambers, hopes this new SOE will bring about success on the new police commissioner and the new UNC government.
It is a hope from many of us within the business sector that this would yield significant results based on whatever strategies they deem necessary to employ in the battle of crime. So we have to give every opportunity and every chance to see where the results will come in, that perpetrators of crime will pay the price for doing crime.
And the THA Minority Leader Kelvon Morris is warning that the state of emergency announced this morning could devastate Tobago's tourism sector just months before the island's carnival. Morris said that this second state of emergency comes at the worst possible time. He described it as a dagger to the heart of Tobago's economy, especially with the October carnival and winter tourist season in sight. Morris claimed crime on the island has improved since the last state of emergency and questions whether Tobago should be penalized for Trinidad's crime spike. He also took aim at Chief Secretary Farley Augustine, accusing him of hypocrisy and going silent after criticizing the last state of emergency.
It seems as if Peter is paying for Paul because Tobago's tourism stands to lose in a big way. And the question is, who will compensate or who will ensure that these tourism stakeholders, our hoteliers, our restaurateurs, our taxi drivers, our artisans, who will ensure that these people are compensated for loss of earning during this time? And may I ask, where is the Chief Secretary now?
Now, Morris is calling for answers, including whether Tobago was consulted before the decision and who will compensate the island's tourism workers for their losses. He demanded the Chief Secretary keep the same energy that he had for the last state of emergency. And a political leader of the Movement for Social Justice, David Abdullah, says this morning's confirmation of an SOE seems to be a knee-jerk reaction to crimes that occurred over the weekend, which includes the discovery of the body of Candace Honore in a suitcase in Sangre Grande yesterday.
That sounds like a knee-jerk reaction to, a few murders that happened over the weekend, perhaps. Without any discussion, we were to hear about crime, the anti-crime plans of the government. The country was, waiting to see what, it was only less than 3 months. The country was waiting to see what the plans were. I don't know why the first major decision to deal with crime and violence is a state of emergency. I thought that would have come after other efforts were being made.
Abdullah was a guest on CNC3's Morning Brew. We're going to take a quick break, but just remember we are standing by for that press conference with the Attorney General. Stay with us.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Move from CXC to your business management degree in just over 2 years with the globally and ACTT recognized ABE qualification at CTS College. Students with limited CSEC passes or mature candidates with work experience can enroll. Each level can be completed in under 6 months, with a diploma awarded upon completion of each level and a bachelor's degree awarded at the end of the entire program. Contact CTS College today and ask about our flexible payment terms.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
Every day at the castle, long before we open our doors, our work begins. Our famous seasonings are mixed in advance. We select our fresh chicken parts and prep our delicious sides. Then we fire up the fryers and rotisserie oven. Everything is made with tasty local herbs, spices, and the same long-loved recipe since 1968. So, when you come in, remember that we uphold our culture and our taste just for you. We are your Royal Castle.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Let's head into some sport now. TNT senior women's volleyball team opened their NORECA Final Four campaign today against Mexico in Puerto Rico at 6 p.m. The Calypso Spikers were invited after Cuba's late withdrawal and will use the tournament to prepare for next month's Caribbean Championship in the Bahamas. TNT's best finish at this event was bronze in 2022. Matches continue throughout Sunday, with TNT facing hosts Puerto Rico and Costa Rica. Tobago's Makeda Bain completed a clean sweep of titles at the Sagicor Junior Tennis Tournament. She was there on the hard courts. Madison Khan and Josiah Hills lay claim to the under-18 singles. Casting Cupid has some of the highlights of the tournament's final day.
Tobagonian-born Makeda Bain won the first of her three finals when she swept aside Chevidane Sylvester in the girls' under-14 singles in straight sets 6-3, 6-2 yesterday. Today, the 13-year-old returned to take the under-16 girls title as well, beating Madison Khan 6-4, 6-3. In the under-18 girls singles final, top seed Madison Khan in the green vest and white shorts brushed off her earlier title defeat and took care of Laurelie Maynard. Khan capturing the title with a straight sets victory 6-2, 6-1. Khan, the newly crowned under-18 champ, teamed up with the under-14 and under-16 champion Makeda Bain as the two defeated the pair of sisters Sira and Sarai Ramcharan in straight sets 6-2, 6-2. Earlier in the day, Josiah Hills in the near court lost the under-16 finals to Christopher Khan 1-6, 6-2, 10-8 in the tiebreak, but returned to avenge that defeat when the two met in the under-18 finals. Hills recorded his victory in straight sets 6-3, 6-4. In the last match of the tournament, both Hills and Khan put their rivalry aside and took the senior men's doubles title, inflicting a 7-5, 6-3 flogging on Jack Brown and his partner, Jacob Jasilon. Caston Cupid, CNC3 Sport.
We take another break and be right back. Stay with us.
Hey Trinidad, it's CeCe Winans, and I can't wait to be coming your way on July 31st. I'm so excited to worship with you and to lift up the name of Jesus together on the More Than This World Tour. It is going to be a powerful night of worship. You won't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at ccwinans.com.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
is reliable, credible, and authentic. Thank you for trusting me to bring you the news. It's a privilege to be in your homes and hearts. With every story and every newscast, CNC3 is keeping you informed and inspired. When it comes to news, we are where you are.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Welcome back. The Paris-based International Chamber of Commerce has given green light to the U.S.-based oil company Chevron to buy into one of the world's most valuable oil developments in Guyana. The ruling means that Chevron, which is America's second largest oil company, can move forward with its acquisition of a smaller rival, Hess, for $53 billion after a 2-year wait to close the deal. Energy observers say Chevron's acquisition means that the company now gets a piece of a lucrative oil project off the shores of Guyana, and that it also gains an array of other assets from North Dakota to Southeast Asia that will extend the company's runway of drilling opportunities and give it the ability to better compete with the likes of ExxonMobil. Exxon and Chevron have been fighting over Hess's stake in Guyana for more than a year in a dispute rooted in the fine print of a contract that has never been made public. The Belize government says it will allocate funding and offer incentives to facilitate the collection and transportation of sargassum to designated disposal sites. Scientists say a record amount of sargassum is currently impacting shores throughout the Caribbean, from Puerto Rico to Guyana, with the prickly brown algae releasing toxic gas, killing wildlife. A statement issued following the weekly cabinet meeting in Belize noted that there were discussions about the escalating sargassum situation, which has seen a 70% increase in regional influx compared to the last major episode in 2022. The statement said that as a result, Cabinet has endorsed an emergency response plan that includes the provisional financial assistance to support cleanup operations in affected coastal communities. It gave no details regarding the amount of funds to be made available, but the Cabinet of Belize called for enhanced collaboration among key ministries, local government authorities, and the private sector. Now, millions in the U.S. are bracing for potentially devastating flooding as a spiraling storm system churns off the coast, with water rescues taking place last night in the Midwest and even a deadly lightning strike in New Jersey. These chaotic summer storms are showing no signs of stopping. Here's more from CNN.
18 people were rescued in Kansas City, Missouri, as a month's worth of rain drenched the area overnight. No one was injured in the flooding, but vehicles were left partially submerged on flooded streets. It's the latest of the wild summer weather impacting communities all across the country. In southern New Jersey, one person was killed and 13 others, including a 7-year-old, were injured Wednesday night when lightning struck in an outdoor archery range.
Everything was great, and then the finger of God just came down and took a life, and I pray that everybody else that's now in the hospital are okay.
Officials say that about half of the people that were injured in the incident are members of a local Boy Scout group. Injuries ranged from burns to non-specific complaints of not feeling well, according to a statement from local police. None of the injuries are life-threatening.
They took a pretty good tumble, and of course, they're crying, and the mothers and fathers are, delirious, worrying about their kids.
Sandbag distribution and other preparations are underway in New Orleans as a sprawling storm system churns off the Gulf Coast. The storm is expected to be felt from the Florida Panhandle to Louisiana and even parts of eastern Texas. One of the possible worst-case scenarios we could see is the storm stalling out along the Gulf coastline and bringing close to a foot of rain to low-lying southern Louisiana.
U.S. President Donald Trump's physician says he's in good health despite a newly announced medical diagnosis. The doctor says ultrasounds indicate a vein condition that causes swelling in the legs. The White House says it's common at his age and Trump's symptoms are mild. Here's more from CNN.
It's basically not alarming information, and it's not surprising.
President Donald Trump has chronic venous insufficiency, according to the White House. The press secretary says that's why his ankles sometimes look swollen.
The veins really aren't doing their job. They're not returning the blood back to the heart, and that's why you see swelling.
Doctors say the condition isn't overly concerning, so long as it doesn't lead to or indicate more serious issues. The White House says Trump's medical team tested for those extensively.
All results were within normal limits.
Experts say Trump's age is a risk factor. He turns 80 next year and is set to become the nation's oldest sitting president in history at the end of this term.
If a person is older, a person is overweight, if a person is sitting or standing for prolonged amounts of time, you can get chronic venous insufficiency.
Medication is a possible treatment, but doctors recommend lifestyle changes, elevation of the legs, and compression socks.
You're just basically trying to move that fluid up.
The White House also acknowledges bruising on Trump's hand. Health analysts say it's probably unrelated and unconcerning.
The most likely cause, I think, is exactly what the White House said. Irritating the hand over and over again, especially in someone who's on blood thinners, it can lead to a hand looking like that.
All right, we bring you now Jean-Marc Rampersad with the day's weather.
We had a cloudy morning with scattered showers over Trinidad and Tobago with an isolated thunderstorm over northeastern areas of Trinidad. The moderate dust which was present over the last few days has now begun to decrease as generally mild concentrations are expected for at least the next 2 days. For the remainder of today, we can expect similar conditions as there are still some thunderstorms off to our east associated with the intertropical convergence zone. Conditions should generally become a bit more settled by this evening.
All right, thank you, Jean-Marc. And just a reminder that, again, Trinidad and Tobago is once again under a state of emergency, which would have begun through that press release this morning and the formal declaration, and then the police commissioner, Alistair Guevaro's statement a little while ago. Now, what we do understand is any minute now, the Office of the Attorney General is going to hold that media conference. His staff is standing by, and we are going to bring that to you live. But for now, let's take a quick break, and by the time they get settled, we are going to bring you that media conference live here on CNC3. So stay with us.
This is Mary. Mary has bills to pay and takes a chance parking in front of the building at the no parking sign. Mary returns to her car, and this is what happens. Mary decides to call when she's 5 minutes away to let her daughter know that she is close by. But Mary forgot one thing.
Boy, second ticket for the day. I don't know, no? I really don't know. Well, I tell you.
After 2 tickets, Mary just isn't paying attention to her speed.
You see a fixed penalty noted, fixing speed by 15 kilometers. You have 30 years to pay, 15 years to contest.
It has showed other people. Look at other people passing. All they ain't seen them. All they seen me, right? Eh? All they too wicked.
Don't be like Mary. Obey the laws of the road. A message from the TTPS.
Are you tired of the same old boring drive home from work? Look no further. Get ready for the ultimate after-work rush with Freedom 106.5 FM's The Overdrive with Davey. Mondays to Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Davey take you on a thrilling ride of non-stop entertainment and education. He covers the topics of the day, delves into the latest food and lifestyle trends, and brings dynamic guests from exciting professions to share their professional stories and experiences. Take advantage of this energizing and engaging experience. Tune into Freedom 106.5 FM, Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for The Overdrive with Davey, the ultimate way to end your day with a bang.
Whoever gets this one answer will win the game. Good luck to both of you. We asked 100 married women, name a place your husband goes where he'd better not act like he's single.
The bar.
Don't miss Family Feud. New episodes weekdays from 6:30 p.m. Marathon repeat weekly at 8:30 a.m. Saturdays at 8:45 a.m. and Sunday at 9 a.m. Only on CNC3. Don't miss Uttaran, CNC3's Indian soap. Weekdays at 5:30 p.m. Repeats weekdays at 12:15 p.m. And marathon Sundays at 11 a.m. Only on CNC3.
The fact that they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. So, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover.
I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name.
About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth.
On sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I've been in Ghana since The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
The stories that are being covered are well detailed and you get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job on this speaking the truth, and they're challenging the government to make things better.
Me in particular, of recently, in the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities, and I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
Oh, The Guardian.
The Guardian?
Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian is my first choice.
Make sure you have yourself a great investment week by viewing The Boss Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Boss Report. CNC3, covering your world.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too.